Hello everybody, it's Merlin here, and I just wanted to talk to you guys very briefly about a series that I started watching recently upon recommendation of my old friend the Anime Hero, and that series is Kaiji, the Ultimate Survivor. Now, Kaiji is an anime from 2007 that is based on the manga Kaiji, and it's basically a manga focused around gambling. I guess you could say it's more of a crime, thriller, drama sort of thing. Basically, it follows this young man. I think he's in about his early 20s, thereabouts. He's named Kaiji, obviously, so it's the titular character. And he is this young guy who's basically kind of a degenerate gambler. His whole life is based around just savoring the delight from just all these gambling experiences that he has. He doesn't really have any major goals in his life other than that. Gambling has basically consumed his life. So he doesn't really have much going for him. Now, it turns out that he co-signed a loan with a friend of his, and turned out that his friend got into a massive amount of debt. However, it wasn't a normal kind of debt. Turned out his friend was indebted to the mob. And therefore, because he's indebted to it as well, the mob basically approaches him and says, you know, this loan has gotten way out of hand. You basically have the choice to work this off for the rest of your life, or you can come to this ship of ours where you can basically engage in this gambling tournament with other degenerates who have fallen into our trap and are also in debt to us. And there, if he does well, he has a chance to basically wipe his debt clean and start fresh. However, if he loses, he'll be forced to work manual labor to pay off his debt for basically the rest of his life. But since it's the mob, he's essentially going to be their slave for pretty much the rest of his adult life. So, obviously Kaiji takes this up. He goes to this mysterious ship, and he engages in this really intense gambling game. And the first gambling tournament that he is engaged in is actually basically a form of rock, paper, scissors. These cards with the different forms, signatures of rock, paper, and scissors. And that's essentially what it is. And it's kind of, from that plot synopsis, I suppose it sounds kind of silly, but it's actually a really awesome series. I watched the first 11 or 12 episodes. I basically binged them while I was on vacation for a day. Basically, for the most part, I really liked it. I think Kaiji is actually a really cool character because even though he kind of wrestles with whether or not, you know, he should take certain actions when he strategizes to basically get himself ahead of everyone else, he still tries to be honorable. He still tries to treat other people with dignity and respect, even though everybody else is basically trying to stab him in the back constantly. I think that's one of the great moral dilemmas in the show, is basically that one of the primary themes is basically looking at gambling and taking it as a metaphor for how people basically deal with each other on a day-to-day basis. And just that human aspect, basically refraining back to the concept of betrayal and loyalty and honor, ironically. It's also pretty intense. There's a lot of mind games. There's a lot of strategy involved. Some of it is a bit complicated. I can't say that I followed all of it, and some of it does get very over the top, as the series basically could be. It has some shonen elements, though I wouldn't necessarily say it's shonen per se. I think it's a little more of an adult series, though I'm not sure if it's necessarily seinen. It's kind of somewhere in between, though it has elements of both. Really, based upon what I've seen so far, I really liked it. The animation's pretty cool. The style is very angular. This series, I haven't finished it yet. It covers, I believe, the first arc of the manga, and so far it's pretty enjoyable. I'm probably going to keep watching it, might even do a full review afterwards. The only real negative so far I don't like is that the narrator pretty much states every single thing about the plot that's going on, most of which you could kind of infer just by watching the story. So it's just an annoying little element that's kind of a part of the anime itself, which I think is a bit annoying because it takes away from the audience's ability to view it and take upon your own, you know, viewpoints and understanding of it. So I think that the show needs to speak for itself a little more. So it's kind of like the new version of Hunter x Hunter, where the narrator literally explains the characters' actions, their motivations, the overall theme of what's going on in the episode or the scene. It gets a little annoying. Like, okay, I get it. Maybe once in a while it'd be nice, but literally, you don't have to spell it out for us. It's not like the Nolan Batman movies or something. Literally, I hate that. Like, let the audience think for themselves. That's the only real negative to the show. Other than that, it's really enjoyable. Last point I left off, the arc on the ship did get resolved, and he's now participating in this really intense game where he's being bet on. I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but it's actually really good. I'm enjoying it so far. If you haven't heard of it, you haven't checked it out, I definitely say check out this anime, maybe read the manga. I'll give you guys a more updated review when I've completed it. But right now, I have to say it's a pretty good recommendation. Thank you to the Anime Hero for recommending it to me. And yeah, support the fandom group, and I'll be getting some more videos to you guys pretty soon, maybe some movie reviews. And of course, any requests for any videos you'd like me to do are always welcome. I'll see what I can do to get to them. Alright, thank you very much. Merlin out. Peace.